right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Happy Friday to you. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. 844 Studio 4 is the phone number. Got a lot to go over. The NCAA tournament, March Madness. I guess it's no longer March Madness because there's no madness. And honestly, there was barely any madness to begin with this year. It was a pretty, I'm not going to say a boring or a bad tournament. I'm just going to say it's not the tournament that we are used to seeing, where you get into the second weekend and everybody's bracket is destroyed and nobody has any teams left. We had all number one seeds make the Final Four. Only the second time in history that's happened. So I'm not calling it madness. I'm just going to call it March. But we're in April now. So, yeah, figure that one out. We got some Final Four games coming up this weekend. You have the national championship also on Monday. This weekend, a lot of good action. Charlotte FC is going to be in action. They'll be at home, actually, here at Bank of America Stadium. Tomorrow, they'll be taking on Nashville. That should be a good game. And Charlotte FC's had a pretty good start to the year. Unfortunately, last time they were out, they lost 2-0 to Colorado. But currently, they are 5th in the Eastern Conference. Things are looking pretty good. Also coming up this weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series. They head to the Lady in Black. Yes, Darlington. Okay. It's throwback weekend. So we got all of the throwback schemes going on this weekend, which is fine. I'm a big fan of the throwback schemes, but I've been saying this for 2 years now, and it's frustrating. If you're going to have a throwback weekend, and if you're going to have drivers and cars throwback to old paint schemes, old sponsors, I mean, Kyle Larson is running a beautiful recreation of the Kellogg's Terry Labonte car, but it's not a Kellogg sponsor. It's just HendrickCars.com. If you've seen Brad Keselowski's car and his sponsor, he's not even running a throwback. If you're going to have throwback weekend, you absolutely have to require everyone to do it. Otherwise, it just doesn't look good. And look, I'm going to love seeing all of these iconic paint schemes. But number one, not everybody's doing it, and that bothers me. And number two, races at 3 o'clock, and it's Darlington, and it's throwback weekend. I'm sorry, but you got to have this race under the lights. With those paint schemes, they have to be under the lights. A NASCAR race car just looks better under the lights. It does. I don't know how many people would argue against that. Now, maybe the track is different. You know, the sun's on it, so track temp is hotter, so it's going to be a little bit looser. Not as easy to do things that you might want to do with your car. But it's just not the same. I'm going to try to get over it. I'll try my best, and we'll move on with it. But Darlington, this coming Sunday, 3 o'clock. Catch all the action right here on WSIC, beginning at 2. Now, this is not the 500-mile race. It's a 400-mile race. So it's a little shorter, kind of like what we had at Martinsville this past weekend with Denny Hamlin getting his first win of the season. First win with a new primary sponsor as well, with Progressive on the hood of that race car. But at Martinsville, you had 400 laps. Normally, it's 2 500-lap races, so they took 100 laps out of Martinsville. Darlington, you have the Southern 500. Obviously, that's one of the biggest races of the year, but the spring race is not a 500-miler, only 400 miles. And then next week, we go to Bristol for 500 laps. So a lot of 500s being thrown around there, it seems. We'll get a little bit more into the NASCAR Cup Series later in the program. I do want to start things off with the NCAA tournament. It has been everybody's been watching over the past weekend. Chattanooga, by the way, becomes the first Southern Conference team to win the NIT. So congratulations to Chattanooga for winning the NIT. Do people watch the NIT? I don't think so. I don't. And I'm curious with this new tournament that's going on, that's going to be starting soon. It's the College Basketball Crown. Have we heard of this? Do we know what this is? It's the first year, I believe, that they're doing the College Basketball Crown, and it'll take place in Las Vegas. You got some heavy-hitting teams here. Nebraska's in there. Colorado. Villanova is going to be playing as well. Butler. And plenty of others. But are people going to be interested in this? And here is where I think the conflict is going to arise. You have the NCAA tournament, which is wrapping up this weekend. You got the Final Four and then the championship game, obviously. But immediately following that, once we get past the tournament and into mid-April, it is NBA, it is NHL, and it is playoffs. And you put playoffs in front of something people are going to watch. The College Basketball Crown, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be like. Now, we've already had the first couple of games here, which, did you even know what was going on? Because I saw that this was going on, and I said, who's watching this? Now, I get it. It's on days when maybe the tournament wasn't actually right in front of us. Yesterday, we had a couple of games, actually. Villanova beating USC, UCF beating Cincinnati. But does this really draw attention? I don't think so, personally. We'll see. It's an experiment, kind of like most of the things that we've seen that's new in a lot of these sports now. You have in-season tournaments going on, things like that. I'm wondering what's next. Is the NFL going to create a playoff for teams that didn't make the playoffs? Because that's what this is, the College Basketball Crown. It's a playoff for teams that didn't make the playoffs, which there is a such thing as oversaturation. And I think that's what we have right now with college basketball. Cool. You have the NCAA tournament. Cool. The NIT, it's always been around. Got it. I understand that. But introducing more, I don't think that's the way to go. And I think we'll see when the ratings come out for this that it was not a good idea. We're going to head to our first commercial break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk more about the NCAA tournament. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, toasty might just be the word for it. Warming things up big time with an early taste of summertime warmth over the next couple of days. Partly cloudy, we'll be up around 90 for this afternoon, staying mild tonight as temperatures only fall back into the mid and upper 60s. For your Saturday, we're going to start dry, back in the upper 80s with increasing clouds. We'll be tracking our next chance for rain. Some of it could be heavy Sunday evening and into Monday. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like Greystone Lodge in Boone.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Friday night is the season opener for the Live Under the Oaks outdoor concert series at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. Grab your friends, family, and your lawn chairs as weekly music returns to the plaza each Friday through October. Red Rocks will be on site for beverages, and the Birkdale restaurants will be open for your Friday night dinner. The Walter Family Band performance, powered by Waves Entertainment, kicks off at 6 p.m. Friday at Birkdale Village in Huntersville with the season premiere of Live Under the Oaks. The 500 Club in Statesville presents a weekend full of fun. On Friday, Members Happy Hour begins at 5 p.m. Also enjoy the day with Glow Golf Loop. Saturday night at midnight, enjoy a good old-fashioned drive-in movie. Call 704-872-9990 or visit the 500 Club online for more details and enjoy your weekend at the 500 Club in Statesville. The Auto Fair presented by Camping World is back at Charlotte Motor Speedway Thursday through Saturday. The show brings together the car community in a celebration of their shared passion for all things automotive. Don't miss the Heritage Invitational, where iconic cars from all eras are gathered for up-close viewing. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for Auto Fair tickets and more information. On Saturday, come celebrate the 5th year anniversary at Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius. A DJ and coffee will kick off the day at 9 a.m., while live music begins at 1 p.m. Enjoy drink specials, multiple food trucks, and free admission. We'll see you Saturday at Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius for their 5th year anniversary party. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, The Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Floors, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The War and Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
The NASCAR Cup Series will try to tame the Lady in Black as they head to Darlington Raceway this Sunday. Catch all the action right here on WSIC, coverage beginning at 2 p.m.
Number one for talk in Lake Norman, Statesville.
1059, 100.7 WSIC. It's the Scoreboard with your host, Sports Director Joe Berg on 1059, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is segment 2 here on the Scoreboard. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number. Talking a little college basketball here as we had the NCAA tournament going on. Now, I don't want to talk too much about brackets. Oh, how'd your bracket do? Oh, did you do good on your bracket? Well, see, my strategy personally, and I know I just said we're not going to talk about it, but here I am talking about it. My strategy normally, I don't know what you do over there, CJ. I don't know if you have a strategy or not. But my strategy is to just pick a bunch of upsets in the first 2 rounds. And then once you get to like the Elite 8 and the Final 4, I'm like, okay, let's get some 1 seeds. Let's get a 2, maybe a 3, maybe a 4 if we're lucky. And when I make a bracket, I usually do 3 on my own. And I always make a chalk bracket just to see how much chaos there is versus how I did in my brackets. My chalk bracket is my best bracket. And that's because we have 4 number 1 seeds in the Final 4. Did you make a bracket this year, CJ? No. That's unfortunate. So I love the tournament. I love the NCAA tournament, but I love the chaos of the NCAA tournament. And we did not have much chaos this year. Hence why we have 4 number 1 seeds in the Final 4. So going on this weekend, Auburn plays Florida, 6 o'clock. And then right after that, Duke plays Houston. I think we're going to see Auburn and Duke. That's what I think we're going to get.
That's what I'm hoping for.
That's what you're hoping for.
Yeah.
Why's that?
Because I didn't make a bracket, but I thought Auburn was going to go pretty far.
Okay.
They've been pretty good this year.
You know, I was a little concerned for Auburn at one point.
Yeah, their first like game or two, they didn't look like they were going to go far.
They let Alabama State stick around in game number 1 for
Right.
the first half of that game. And
Right.
I was like, that could have set the stage for what could have been an incredibly chaotic tournament. But nonetheless, none of the 16 seeds beat a 1. Still only 2 teams to ever do that. And they're relatively recently. UMBC beating Villanova. That was crazy.
Yep.
And Fairleigh Dickinson, alma mater. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. We did it.
There you go.
Claim to fame.
There you go.
You know, I always say that. It's my alma mater, CJ. there's 2 campuses
Yeah.
to that school. I went to the campus that didn't have the
team.
basketball
I mean,
team,
you
but I
technically
still claim
went
them.
there.
I'm
Right.
still claiming
Right.
them. Okay.
Technically, you still went there.
Yeah, that's still my squad,
Yeah.
man. Man. Anyway, I don't know what we accomplished there. Final Four weekend. I got Duke, I got Auburn, and I think I have Duke winning it all. Now, a lot of people have Florida winning it all, which is,
Surprising.
more power to them. But I just have a hard time going against Cooper Flag. The concern for me going into this tournament was that ankle, the injury that he had in the not the NCAA tournament, in the ACC tournament. And it seemed like we all have kind of forgotten about that injury, or it really hasn't mattered at all. I'm curious what kind of trainers they have over there at Duke, because they must have done a real good job with that ankle. I'm still nursing an ankle injury. It's been 2 months? Man, get me into the Duke trainers room, man, please. Anyway, we got some callers here, is what I'm being told. Let's go ahead and bring caller number 1 into the studio. All right. Good morning, caller. Thanks for calling the Scoreboard. What do you have for me?
Well, I hope you're feeling good, Joe.
Oh, much better. Thank you.
We missed you last week.
I know. I missed talking to you guys.
I got Lenny's list for you.
All right, let's do it. Lenny's list. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I go through it fast, and then you could just elaborate and whatever with your expertise. That's why I call you, buddy.
Let's do it.
Okay. And starting in basketball, when they shoot the ball and the ball gets on the rim, and it's still on the rim, and the offensive player puts it back in the rim, that's offensive goaltending. I think it's got to be one of the dumbest rules that they have, and I just hope one day they change it, because if the guy's good, didn't box him out, and he could just, put the ball in the basket while it's on the rim, I think it should be okay. And then with a flagrant foul, when they call flagrant 1, they give these guys 2 foul shots. I think it's too critical. 1 foul shot was definitely enough, and then they give them the ball back. And then also, if you're dribbling a ball and you throw a pass and it hits the guy's legs, it's a violation. I think the game should just go on. What's the big deal if you hit the guy in his legs while the game's going? They don't even have to stop it. And I got to ask you this. I know a lot of lefties, and I used to be called out a little bit in my life because I'm a lefty and you're a lefty. Do you know anybody that's called righty? I never heard of anybody calling anybody righty. And how about the Wildcats? They got the Kentucky Wildcats. They got the Davidson Wildcats, the Villanova Wildcats, the Arizona Wildcats. Don't you think it's time that they should just change these names? It's getting confusing. And to your listeners, I got to give them a good one. Coastal Carolina is giving free food this year, 4 items if you're a ticket season holder. It's just a great story that they give them something for free finally. And I got to give you the last one.
All right.
I complained about it a couple of weeks ago. They changed the overtime rule in the NFL that if you get the ball, the other team has to get the ball. And I complained about it on your show a few weeks ago, and I hope that somebody heard me. But other than that, I hope you're doing good, Joe, and I'm going to let you, out of all that stuff on Lenny's list, you could just talk about any one of those issues that I have, and God bless you.
Absolutely. Great to hear from you, and appreciate you calling in as always.
Okay, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good one. I love it. Let's hold off on the second caller real quick. Let's get through a couple of these things. I agree. I don't understand why we have so many colleges that have the same mascot. You would think there's enough things that can be a mascot. Maybe, I don't know, a hippo. Like the Scoreboard is presented by the Harbor Hippos of Lake Norman. You could be the Hippos. Like over here in Lake Norman with the Harbor Hippos.
You could.
They got 8 Wildcats. There's a bunch of Bulldogs too. I know we got that. Fresno State Bulldogs. A bunch of Tigers in there as well. Can we find, why are there no Meerkats?
Right.
Come on. The San Diego Meerkats.
No elephants.
No elephants. Where's the love for the elephants?
No, wait, there is fish.
There is fish.
I'm trying to think.
There's a few fish.
Yeah.
I like the ones that you don't really think about, like Purdue, the Boilermakers. There you
Right,
go.
like
that's
that's
great. That's creative. Why do we have 5 teams that are the Wildcats?
Right.
What is a Wildcat? Is it a
great
bobcat
question.
or a tiger? Or
Well, isn't Davidson the Wildcat?
Davidson is the
What
Wildcats.
What is their mascot?
A wildcat.
Is it like an actual like?
It's just a wildcat, man.
So it's just a cat. So
Just
yeah,
but
that's a
but
great
it's a
question.
wild one.
Right. Right.
Can't leave out the fact that it is wild.
It is wild.
It is. And Lenny, by the way, I did call up my people at the NFL and got that rule changed for you. That was all me. I'm taking credit. The NFL, it seems like they're going to change that overtime rule during the regular season to where both teams will be getting the ball. I'm going to take credit for that. Lenny, that was for you. I did it. I called my people. My people called other people. And here we go.
And his people called Roger Goodell.
Exactly. And Roger doesn't know me, but
Right. His
but-
people's do.
but the people that know the people know Roger.
Right.
So guilty by association.
Right.
Let's go ahead and bring the other caller into the studio here. Caller, thanks for calling the Scoreboard today. What do you got for me?
Good morning, Joe Berg.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Tar Heel man. I'm sorry that it was a disappointing run.
Yeah, I didn't get to call you last week. I was out of town, but I thought I'd check in and heard you talking about Duke there. Just wanted to comment, even though it hurts my heart to admit it. Yeah, I think that Duke's got the best team and going to win it. And but at least they're repping the ACC. Everybody trashes the ACC. I know Duke was the dominant team coming out of there this year, but just can't ever count out the ACC. They're the Big Ten has no Final Four teams. SEC only got 2 of their 14 teams in, and once again the ACC I think is going to finish it off and add another title.
Hey, it's the ACC had Duke and nobody else after day one, and here they are now in the Final Four.
Only 2 teams to win a game in the tournament this year: the Tar Heels and then Duke with a bunch of wins. So everybody else choked out. But hey, at least still got ACC standing there at the end with the Final Four teams, and I think they're going to finish them off there. They're just got so many options, and I mean they proved what they can do when the flag's down and out, and still win the ACC title. So
yeah,
just got a really strong team. But come next year, most of those guys will be gone, and they'll be starting over with a new crop. So.
Yeah,
Like
that's
every other team in college basketball, free agency, or whatever you want to call it now, but just kind of like an open barn door swinging back and forth there.
it's something like that. And yeah, the rebuild, retool, I guess is what you call it in college. Basketball has become so prevalent. I'm thinking though, especially if you look at Auburn and the SEC Player of the Year and Johnny Broome. He's a transfer. I'm thinking give it a couple of years and these transfers are going to kind of retool the way that we look at college basketball and building a successful program, especially once they figure out how to do these NIL deals to where it is a fair playing field. I think it'll make things pretty interesting.
Yeah, oh yeah. No, it's just obviously the new wave. Just got to get used to not the old way of how I think about things. So, but I guess change is good. Sometimes when you get old, though, you don't like changes. But since I'm the old man out of the 2 of us, but anyway, just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. I think Duke's probably going to finish it off and win the title. And what are you thinking point spread on it? What are you putting? What do you think? I heard you say they're going to win it. What do you think?
So I have
everybody. Well, they've been winning by like 20, 21 an average or something this season.
They've been blowing out some teams. They had that one close game against Arizona in the tournament, but man, Duke is just. I got them winning by more than 6. I'm gonna give it more than 6.
More than 6. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll set it at 5.5 on the over under.
And And who was the key player in that Arizona close game?
Oh, man.
Former Tar Heel, Mr. Caleb Love, huh?
I
Guy
had a
was
feeling that
bucket,
I'd hear
man.
about that.
If he'd have had a little bit of helper, if he'd had a helper out there, the guy, what did he have, like 35 or something?
I think he did.
He was like the go-to guy, and they knew it, and they still couldn't stop him. And he was just hitting them from all over the place. But,
Yeah.
yeah, but sounds like Tar Heels are working on trying to get the big Zona big guy there, that Visser, however you say his name.
Okay.
They're working on trying to get him, big 7-foot guy. Because a lot of their guys are graduating and moving on to other teams, so need a new mix there. Got to get some new blood in there, and hopefully Hubert can get things done.
Well, we'll see what happens. Well, hey, we got to go to our commercial break here, but appreciate the call. As always, good to hear from you.
Yep. Take care, Joe. Talk to you later.
All right. We will talk later. All right. We'll be back.
Dinner's ready.
Ever feel like your husband just isn't listening?
Dinner's ready.
Maybe he just can't hear.
Babe.
It's time to turn up the volume on life. Belltone in Mooresville and Cornelius can help with a free hearing test and expert solutions tailored for you. Call 877-HEAR-123 today. That's 877-HEAR-123. Don't wait. Call 877-432-7123 and bring back the sound of love.
Hello, friends. This is Dwight with Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters, inviting you to join the Gullion family and staff in praising the Lord for 30 years of providing you with trustworthy and inspiring books, Bibles, music, gifts, and supplies. We so appreciate your support and friendship over all these years. With locations in King and Statesville, North Carolina, visit us again soon for encouraging fellowship and essential provisions for your Christian life. Gullion's Christian Supply and Homeschool Headquarters, where the Bible stands.
If you're between the ages of 55 and 63, disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. The average is about $1,300 a month. It's a benefit you are entitled to from working. Use it to pay your normal living expenses. This free call only takes 10 minutes, and it could provide you the necessary financial relief you need. Plus, our services cost you nothing until you receive your benefit check. Save yourself time and aggravation. We know how to get the job done for you as quickly as possible. So if you are physically or mentally disabled and can't return to work, and you're between the ages of 55 and 63, learn if you qualify for your $1,300 a month check. Make this free call right now to the Social Security Disability Helpline.
800-854-2074. 800-854-2074. 800-854-2074. That's 800-854-2074.
Home of the best talk.
WSIC. Local starts here. This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Yesterday, the worst day for Wall Street since the spring 2020 pandemic panic wasn't enough. We're seeing aggressive Wall Street selling for a second day, following President Trump's global tariff rollout and as other countries craft responses, including China's 34% tariff match on U.S. goods. Right now, the Dow is tumbling 3.5%, S&P 500 down 4%, NASDAQ down 4.5%. Getting less attention today than it typically does, the monthly jobs report. It shows 228,000 jobs added to the economy in March. That's more than forecast, but the job gain from February was revised lower, and the unemployment rate unexpectedly ticked up to 4.2%. Yesterday, after 25% tariffs on all imported passenger vehicles took effect, Ford began offering employee pricing for the masses on its new rides. Today, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram owner Stellantis is doing the same, offering employee discount pricing across its brands to U.S. customers. Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Radio. Number one for talk in Lake Norman, Statesville.
105.9, 100.7, WSIC. The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9, 100.7, WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scoreboard. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number if you want to call in, have something to chat about. We had a caller, Lenny, here, brought something up about these college programs all having the same nicknames. And I think he's onto something.
He is.
All right, CJ. We're going to do a test.
All right.
We're going to do a test.
All right.
Do you know Louisville's mascot?
Cardinal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. How about Ball State?
Oh, I have no idea. Horse?
Use some deductive reasoning here.
Ball State.
If Louisville is the Cardinals, what is Ball State?
Whatever bird is in their state.
They're also the Cardinals.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You got a couple Cardinals.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
All right. How about Auburn? That should be an easy one.
Tigers.
All right. What about LSU?
Tigers.
What about Clemson?
Tigers.
What about Missouri?
Tigers.
What about Memphis?
Tigers.
What is this all about? And one of the ones that we asked about, that I asked you about, I was like, off the top of my head, I can't think of any Bobcats. We got 2 Bobcats.
Okay.
We got 2.
Texas
State and Ohio University. Not Ohio State. Not the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I remember. them.
Ohio
Yeah.
are the Bobcats.
Yeah, I didn't think about them.
You also got the Boise State Broncos, the Western Michigan Broncos, SMU Mustangs, a couple horses there. Nobody is just the horses, though.
Right.
I think Boise State or Western Michigan should come to the table and say, okay, one of us can be the Broncos. The other one's got to be a Clydesdale or something.
Right.
Like, we can't both be the Broncos.
Or just say we're the horses.
Or just say they're the horses. Yes, I like that. I like that as well. You got the Arizona State Sun Devils, and you got the Duke Blue Devils, and you got the Wake Forest Deacon Demons. Or Demon Deacons, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I said that backwards.
Yeah. I see a trend. Lenny, I think you called something out and you started a trend.
I don't like this.
No.
Army.
Navy. No, I'm kidding.
No. The Black Knights.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
then
Central Florida.
the Black Knights.
Just the Knights.
Or the Knights.
Rutgers.
The Knights.
The Scarlet Knights. So we got different colored Knights,
Right.
which,
I can understand.
okay.
But it's still Knights.
But it's still the Knights. I think the craziest one on this list, though, is the Birds. Now, there maybe not all be the same, but we got Cardinals, we got the Ducks, you got the Boston College Eagles, the Eastern Michigan Eagles, the Georgia Southern Eagles, the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, the North Texas Mean Green Eagles. That's a completely different bird. That's a mean bird.
Yeah.
You got a couple Falcons in there. I mean,
who are naming these teams? Is
why
this
and
just
why do they
like-
all have to have the same name? There's plenty of animals and mascots to go
I feel like
around.
there's like a table with like just a bunch of people, like adults, that are saying, okay, who can draw the best picture? Like when Sam Darnold had to draw the Panther for the Carolina
Yes.
Panthers. I feel like that's what's going on in college
Yes.
sports, is they're just sitting there drawing it and said, whoever comes up with this is what it's going to be.
Man, that was a great time. I think the Carolina Hurricanes made the Panthers logo like their
Yeah.
profile picture
Yeah,
or something like that.
they did.
And man, that was funny back then. But yeah, there's something. We got a couple Cowboys too, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. You got the Oklahoma State Cowboys and the Wyoming Cowboys. Which cowboy are you more afraid of? A cowboy from Oklahoma or a cowboy from Wyoming?
Wyoming.
I feel like it's a trick question. I feel like most people would say Oklahoma,
I'd say Wyoming.
but I think it's Wyoming.
Right.
I would not want to mess with a Wyoming cowboy.
Right.
Uh-uh.
Because it's like, how many times do you hear sports news coming out of Wyoming?
Right. So
it's
they
like-
so the Cowboys are what's running it.
Right.
Yeah.
They could
So
be fierce.
so by that reasoning, we should make Oklahoma State change their mascot
Right.
from the Cowboys to something else.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know.
Look, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma
like
State
the-
Dust Bowlers.
Yeah. Oklahoma Tornadoes.
I did not expect to get into why all these teams have the same name, though. I
Right.
wasn't expecting that. How about this one? Troy. You know what Troy is?
Are they the Knights?
They're the Trojans.
Okay, the Trojans.
You know who else is the Trojans?
Yeah, it's
right? Come on, you got this one, CJ. You got this one.
not Arizona.
No, but you're on the right side of the country.
I see it in my head. I just can't.
It'd
remember.
be USC.
Yeah, USC.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
we
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from this. That was good segment there. Good bit. Yeah, I agree with Lenny. Lenny is correct in his reasoning of all these schools having the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, for example, like, well, then we'll end this. But like, notice how like North Carolina, App State, Mountaineer, That
Uh-huh.
makes sense.
That does make
because
sense.
it's local to
Yeah.
the state and the town.
Well, there's plenty of mascots that aren't really
Right.
mascots.
Right.
But it's just the state, like the Hoosiers, you have
Right.
the
Like
Cornhuskers.
Right. Like you should make something that's loyal to your either college, town, or state.
So
rather
let's
than copy names.
Okay, so we got to move on from this.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we do.
we brought up Davidson
Right.
because they're the Wildcats.
Yeah.
What should we change Davidson? The Davidson Lakers?
I could see that. Or
Lake Norman?
Yeah.
How about the
that's a good one.
Davidson
Fishmen?
maybe
Something like
Fishermen's?
fishermen's.
No, I don't like that one.
You wouldn't want to call them the boats because that just sounds weird.
Nah, Davidson Boats does not strike fear
Trying to
into
think,
me.
like
Uh-uh.
the Davidson Diamonds.
Davidson Diamonds, okay. I like it. I think we're on track here.
Yeah.
I think somebody take
Someone
that and
will
run
take
with
this
it.
idea.
Yes. Okay. All right, CJ, stay with me here.
Yeah.
Final four this weekend.
Yeah.
Over under. Florida Auburn. What's the what's the line?
6.5, maybe?
A little too big.
3.5.
2.5.
Okay.
2.5 in favor of Florida.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Duke and Houston.
That one's probably bigger.
What do you got?
Like 5? Maybe
5.5 in
Yeah.
favor of Duke. Good job, CJ. Points to CJ. I don't really think we have any scoring. I don't have anything for him, even though he got it right. But he's right. Florida and Auburn, 2.5 point spread in favor of Florida, and Duke Houston, 5.5 in favor of Duke. Now, I found this interesting as well. The over-under in points for Florida and Auburn is 159, while Houston and Duke are at 136. So you can see the different offenses there based on the over-unders that are set. So this weekend, I think we've done enough basketball talk for now. Do we have a caller in the studio?
No, but it was a suggestion.
Okay.
For one of the names.
Okay.
So Davidson is a town made of bricks. So they could be the Davidson Bricks.
The Davidson Bricklayers.
There you go.
I don't know if we should just do the Davidson Bricks because
then they
basketball,
miss shots.
Miss shots, you call it a brick. We
Right.
don't want that.
Right.
Even bricklayers, it might be.
Yeah.
I love the idea.
Yeah. Definitely.
How about
for
the
creativity.
Davidson contractors?
There you go.
Contractors.
The
the one
contractors.
They're laying the
build.
bricks,
They're
right?
laying the bricks.
There we go.
There you go.
Do we accomplish anything here?
No.
All right.
Lenny brought up a good point, though.
He did. He brought up a great point that's turned to a great discussion here.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a list. I found a list just online where it was like, hey, why are all these the same?
Right.
And it's like acts of God. There are colleges named after acts of God. You got the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah.
You got the Iowa State Cyclones. And you got the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. I don't know what a golden hurricane is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
But we'll go with it. Agriculture. The Aggies.
There you go.
We'll be back. I'm done.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
How can I help you?
Well, toasty might just be the word for it. Warming things up big time with an early taste of summertime warmth over the next couple of days. Partly cloudy. We'll be up around 90 for this afternoon, staying mild tonight. As temperatures only fall back into the mid and upper 60s. For your Saturday, we're going to start dry, back in the upper 80s with increasing clouds. We'll be tracking our next chance for rain. Some of it could be heavy Sunday evening and into Monday. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Friday night is the season opener for the Live Under the Oaks outdoor concert series at Birkdale Village in Huntersville. Grab your friends, family, and your lawn chairs as weekly music returns to the plaza each Friday through October. Red Rocks will be on site for beverages, and the Birkdale restaurants will be open for your Friday night dinner. The Walter Family Band performance, powered by Waves Entertainment, kicks off at 6 p.m. Friday at Birkdale Village in Huntersville with the season premiere of Live Under the Oaks. The 500 Club in Statesville presents a weekend full of fun. On Friday, Members Happy Hour begins at 5 p.m. Also enjoy the day with Glow Golf Loop. Saturday night at midnight, enjoy a good old-fashioned drive-in movie. Call 704-872-9990 or visit the 500 Club online for more details and enjoy your weekend at the 500 Club in Statesville. The Auto Fair presented by Camping World is back at Charlotte Motor Speedway Thursday through Saturday. The show brings together the car community in a celebration of their shared passion for all things automotive. Don't miss the Heritage Invitational, where iconic cars from all eras are gathered for up-close viewing. Visit charlottemotorspeedway.com for Auto Fair tickets and more information. On Saturday, come celebrate the 5th year anniversary at Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius. A DJ and coffee will kick off the day at 9 a.m., while live music begins at 1 p.m. Enjoy drink specials, multiple food trucks, and free admission. We'll see you Saturday at Lost Worlds Brewing in Cornelius for their 5th year anniversary party. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Merlefest 2025, presented by Window World, returns April 24th through the 27th in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Hear the Avett Brothers, Bonnie Raitt, The Dead South, Watch House, Wyatt Flores, I'm With Her, Leftover Salmon, The Warren Treaty, The Steel Drivers, and many more. For tickets, visit merlefest.org.
Craving a taste of Italy? At Palmadoro's, we serve up scratch-made comfort with every bite. From our hand-tossed pizzas to classic pasta dishes, it's the perfect place to gather your family or just treat yourself. Visit palmadoros.com for menus and hours. Your table's waiting.
Don't just love the lake, live it. Shop LKN Local, where you'll find unique apparel, home decor, and gifts with a lake vibe you'll just adore. Made by locals for locals, they'll even hand deliver to select zip codes. Shop LKN-local.com today.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Final segment here on the Scoreboard, 844 Studio 4. I think we seem to have stumbled into something here. So if you have a suggestion for what Davidson can call themselves, other than the Wildcats, because we've gone over it now, there's too many colleges named the Wildcats. Too many. What should Davidson be? We've come up with a few.
Yeah.
We got the Davidson Lakers. We got the Bricklayers. I came up with the Davidson nuclear power plant.
Right.
Yeah. Even though it's not in Davidson.
We just had a caller who told a story how there was a lot of feral cats.
The Davidson feral cats.
Davidson feral cats.
You know what? That does strike some fear into me.
Yeah.
I don't want to play the feral cats. I'm going to get some rabies or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've come up with something. So if you have a suggestion, if you're listening, you have a suggestion, because I'm tired of all these colleges having the same nicknames. I'm with Lenny on this one. Lenny, you brought up a great point. This whole show has turned into just why are college mascots all the same? There's no creativity. What? Now,
Davidson Chiefs?
I don't know if we want to go that direction.
Yeah.
It seems like that direction has had some negativity recently.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say we move away from going that direction.
Yeah.
Although, yeah, hey, you never know, right? I mean, you got Charlotte, right? And Charlotte's the 49ers. Do you even know why they're the 49ers? Because apparently, 1949, the school was saved from closure by Bonnie Cohn and her supporters. So because of that, because it was saved in 1949, Charlotte's now the 49ers.
Oh, okay.
But I think we could, something better. I think we could come up with something better. Like, how about the Charlotte Gridlock?
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's a good one. Although they'd have to play like they could gridlock the field because they
Well, you got gridiron.
gridiron.
So
That's true.
you could lock the
Let's
iron.
see. We got a caller. Let's see. What
All
they
right, let's see.
suggest.
All right, let's bring him right on air. Let's bring this caller right on air. I hope they have a suggestion. All right, caller, you're on air with the Scoreboard. Do you have a new name suggestion?
Oh my gosh, I thought I was going to get the screen. Okay, so it's instead of bricklayers, that's too much printing, too much on the suits. It could be brickmen. And then, but I believe I understand Davidson College is where the X-ray began. How about the X-rays?
Ooh, I think we got one there. The Davidson X-rays.
That's a good one. I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyhow, there you go.
Now we got to start the petition. Now we gotta what is it? Change.org or whatever. You got to say, hey, too many Wildcats in college sports. We're petitioning to change Davidson to
The X-rays.
the
And that's what
X-rays.
cats, the X-ray eyes of cat. Hey, there's nothing wrong with cat names, guys. It's the prowess or the lore behind these mascots' names.
How about the
we're
Davidson
hoping that-
Prowess?
I was just getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
The Davidson Prowlers.
You could do whatever you want with that.
Yeah.
I like it, Hope. I like it.
Have a good. Take your collagen, Joe. And hook your ankle.
You have a good one. Good to hear from you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. So we got plenty of options here.
Plenty.
Basically, what we proved, so we did accomplish something. We accomplished that whoever's naming these schools is just lazy.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, hey,
let's just copy the next school in the
Kentucky
next state.
sounds good. They're the Wildcats. Why don't we be the Wildcats? Why not? Get some creativity in your schools, people. Come on. All right, we got a few minutes left on the program here. Let's get into some actual news that you guys need to know. The NASCAR Cup Series heading to Darlington this weekend. Catch that action right here on Sunday at 2 o'clock. WSIC will be broadcasting. The 400-mile race is Throwback Weekend. I love Throwback Weekend, so if you're around to watch that, listen to it. We got you covered. Also, we are inside of 10 games remaining for everyone in the NBA and the NHL. Playoff push is now.
On.
It is on. And I got to say, CJ, I'm a little concerned for Carolina. A little bit. And you might not think that my concern is valid here.
Yeah.
But
let me hear it.
But what if, or not what if, my thing with Carolina is they have been not stuck, but they've just been in the second position in the Metro with no chance to challenge the Capitals, no chance of being challenged by the Devils for what feels like an eternity now.
Yeah.
They've been in neutral, really.
Right.
And they did beat Washington recently, and the brawl on the ice was awesome at the end of the game. And they are on a nice 3-game winning streak. I want to give them that. There's just no urgency right now for them to do anything. And we talk about this in the NFL a lot. A wild card team can make a run because they're in playoff mode before everyone else.
Right.
It's a little different in the NHL to be in playoff mode before everyone else because rather than one game and move on, it's series.
Right.
But Carolina, they're not in playoff mode.
Right.
They're not in, okay, these games are starting to matter. We need to win these games.
Right.
They're kind of cruising to the playoffs. And I'm just concerned that the urgency is not going to be there come game one against the Devils, because that's who they're going to end up playing is the Devils.
I will say I'm glad to see that Freddie is starting to play like a actual goaltender should play. I think he's 7-1 in the last 8 games or something, and having Kochetkov there too helps. But I also horribly disagree with the Rantanen trade. Should have never happened.
Bringing him in or sending him out?
Bringing him in.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. They sent away more than they got back, but I also do agree that they sent him to Dallas because they got Stankoven.
Yeah, Stankoven.
That dude's been all over the ice.
And, that's the thing about Dallas is they have so many good prospects.
Right.
Like, they have the ability to go out and get a player like this, and their team is still great. You look at the West, they're the second best team in the Central right now.
Right.
they're actually knocking on the door, Dallas is, of the best team in the NHL.
Right.
Right now, it's the Winnipeg Jets. Winnipeg got out to that. They were like 15-1 to start the year. Incredible.
Yeah.
And they just haven't looked back. You know, usually you come back to reality here, but Winnipeg, 108 points, 52 wins on the year. They still have 6 games left.
This is probably their best year they've had in the last.
It is the best year they've had. And man, if there was a time for those Winnipeg Jet fans to be excited, it's now.
I think it will be good this year to see different teams in the playoffs.
We do have a few different teams.
Like
Ottawa's going to make it.
My dad's a huge Bruins fan.
Get them out.
And
I'm done with Boston.
And I'm glad they're out. But I also think when they fired Montgomery, that was the dumbest move they could have ever made because he's been like one of the best coaches the last couple of years.
It feels like the NHL is a lot more.
If you're not winning, get out.
Yeah. The leashes are shorter in the NHL, especially if you're a team that's going to win.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Now, you do have the teams that stick with their guy.
Yeah.
Look at Carolina.
Right.
You know, Brendan Moore's not going anywhere.
Right.
But he hasn't gotten them over the edge.
Right.
So
at some point,
he's got to get them there.
Get them over.
Or it's time to move on.
Right.
So, my New York Rangers, rough run. They're 2 points out of the playoffs, 7 games remaining.
I think they'll get in.
Have you seen their schedule?
No.
Okay.
I think.
And this is why I don't think they get in.
The one move I don't like is that Rempe keeps getting sent up and sent down. I think he's a good, solid fourth liner.
He is, but he's got a target on his back from the NHL.
Right. If he just goes out there, plays his shifts, fights.
He's still going to get a penalty because he's Matt Rempe.
Right.
That's the problem.
Occasionally fights, but I don't think that's why he's getting minutes.
Listen to this. New York Rangers remaining schedule. Tampa Bay Lightning, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Islanders, Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning again. That's a lot of playoff teams.
I think you definitely could beat the Flyers.
Well, hold on. Let's go over the team in front of them now, the Montreal Canadiens.
They're red hot.
They are 3 in a row.
Yep, they're red hot.
3 in a row. They're red hot. And their schedule, they got Philly, Nashville, Detroit, Ottawa.
Yeah, you're done.
Toronto, Chicago.
That's going to be a tough.
And they end the season with Carolina. That's a much easier schedule.
Yeah.
Much easier schedule. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But, you know, and I say it all the time. If you don't get out to a good start in the season,
you're not
going to be competitive at the end of the year. The New York Rangers, had they not gone 14-2 or whatever they did to start the year, they'd be out.
Right.
And we wouldn't be in this conversation.
Right.
Starting the year, more important, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
100%.
Real quick, basketball before we head out of here. A few games left. Your Cleveland Cavaliers are the 1 seed of the East. Oklahoma City Thunder, the 1 seed of the West. Oklahoma City, 14.5 games ahead of the Houston Rockets, who are second. That is a dominant performance right there. Playoffs around the corner for both of these leagues. The NCAA tournament comes to an end here in a couple of days. It's a great time for sports. We'll talk more about it on next Friday.